Well, good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Okay, let me see. I got a text right here from Paul. Okay, and I just realized I ate some Michigan brand just before I went on the air here. So I probably have it in my teeth. But you know what? It's worth it. This morning, my beloved peppercorn smoked beef and then a new flavor, Korean style barbecue pork. Thank you, Nick Grillo. Tommy, good morning. How are you? Thanks for joining me on this edition of Behind the Mic. Johnny Bowler, how was Vegas? Will it ever be the same? Will you ever be the same? I've always said between Vegas and New Orleans, when Jesus comes back, he's gonna have a hard time deciding which place to hit first because they're both kinda, I don't know. Outdoor Conquest, good morning. How are you? Man, you've been doing some great work over there for a long time, right? Mike, good morning. How are you? Captain Jim. S Sad day. Why is it a sad day, Johnny? Because 'Cause you're back at work? Hey, Joey. How have you been, my friend? Haven't talked to you in the longest of times. Did you see that, Mr. AnglerQuest, Brad Dupuis, has now come up with his own line of AnglerQuest, QUEST. I will be working with him on that, and I'm very excited. Tommy doing well. Johnny says your 10 grand didn't go very far. There's a joke that I paid Johnny $10,000 for my bear hunt, and I got a discount. Everybody else paid him more. So he was going out there with like $100,000 in his pocket just from bear hunters. Sounds like he spent it all, and I guarantee he didn't get 10 grand from me, but it's fun to joke around about. Paul, good morning. How are you? John, always a pleasure, buddy. Hey, yeah, Mark Bonanzak. I saw some video of you, Mark, from you, Mark, of trolling Saginaw Bay after dark. How cool is that? And I've gotta believe with this warm stretch of weather we've had that, the bay's wide open right now. Last couple of days, there hasn't been much wind. My son James was out 2 days ago, and I gotta believe you guys are doing real well on Saginaw Bay right now. I think they got 12 fish, smallest one 6 pounds, which is crazy because in the summertime, we're out there trying to get 13 to 17-inch fish, and you guys are out there now pounding 6-pound fish, to which I say, "Good for you." George, how are things over at Savage Dog Outdoors? Cliff, how you doing, buddy? Johnny's back in the plow truck, so he went from plowing snow in the middle of the U to Vegas, back to plowing snow. Culture shock. Hey, Johnny. Dave, good morning. Uncle Johnny Crave. Happy belated anniversary to you and Aunt Debbie. It was very nice to see you guys last night. Had a lot of fun. Thank you for dinner. Snuck that one in on me, but thank you for dinner. Hey, Josh, good morning. Josh will be on the radio show this week. Dan says, "How many people took that joke seriously?" Probably a lot, because I feel like sometimes the things I say on here, which are obviously and blatantly said as jokes, get taken seriously. Um, and then there are things like the post I made earlier in the week about being out there in the muzzleloader season with my Brenton AR style 350, and I had a magazine in there that was a 10 it looked to be a 10-round mag, but it was only a 5. I'll talk more about that later. It's like people are interested, and I use the word interesting judiciously. Charlie, good morning. How are you? Captain Doug Ward. Some beautiful weather. I know, Doug, that you are done fishing. Oh, who'd I run into, Doug? I ran into, and I don't remember his name, but he works at Serenas Johnson, and the trip that you gave us for the Trinity Monitor event, he got that for his family, I saw him just Monday of this week. Um, the Forward Corporation had their ribbon cutting ceremony for the new Lumberjack Lodge in West Branch, and Serena's Johnson and that guy had done the work on the project. So I ran into him. He was talking about that trip. He was talking about what a fun day it was on the water, what a great job you did, and how there were several boats out there already. And he said, "You ran right past them." And he's like, "Okay, when I saw this guy go past the rest of the boats, I'm thinking this guy's got it dialed in. He's got his own spot out there." And he said, "Indeed, you did." So congrats, Doug. And thank you, Doug Ward of Express Charters, for already donating a trip to our golf outing next summer for MUCC's youth camp. Thank you. Joey Baird, I did. I spoke to him recently. Gonna catch up with you guys this year, hopefully. Joey, that would be wonderful. I will look forward to that very, very much. Joe, good morning. How are you? George Widmeyer, waiting for the Coyote tournament season. We're gonna talk more about that in a few minutes here. Well, you won't hear it until the radio show this weekend, with Josh Mapes of Overdrive Outdoors, but we'll talk more about that. Richard, good morning. How are you? Johnny Bowler, I could have stayed another 4 months in Vegas. Johnny, how can you spend 4 months in Vegas? I don't wanna spend 4 hours in Vegas, but I would like to spend 4 hours with this guy on the bay of my angler quest.
Well, I'm ready. Oh, it's not
It's
a good time, is it now?
I'm ready, you're ready, but Mother Nature's never ready. Although, Art, there have been people out there on the bay lately,
Yeah.
a lot.
You know, I'm not one of them.
Well
By the way, the bear brats were bearlicious.
Were they?
Oh,
There's something else I want you to try. New flavor from Michigan brand. Now, this is not one of the new flavors I brought in last week. Korean style barbecue. Very good. You let me know what you think of this one, all right?
all right.
All right. Art Lewis, you can hear him every day almost on WSTW AM and FM and WSTW.com. Usually when I do this, there it is right there. You see it? Watch this. It makes a little thumbs up go up on the screen.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. It's
Very
pretty cool.
clever.
Things we learn.
Great technology. man.
Things that keep us entertained. Thanks, Art. Yes, let me know how you think of those. Okay. Kevin says, man, I'm glad you got that magazine issue straightened out. Mark Bonanzek said, I picked my nights, but it's been beautiful at night with zero boat traffic on the bay. Scott says, real snowy in Manistee this morning. Might go hunting tonight for a big doe. Tim Binns, good morning. How are you? Lisa, my husband is muzzleloading in the UP Menominee County. Big buck still on camera. And if he is muzzleloading in the UP, he is limited to actually using a real live muzzleloader, which we here in the Lower Peninsula don't have to do. In the Lower Peninsula, I think they should rename it from muzzleloading season to just deer season. Because down here we went from 2 weeks of firearm season, November 1st to the 15th, took like 5 or 6 days off for the cooling down period for archery season, and then we're right back out there with muzzleloaders again. In muzzleloading season with centerfire rifles again. And here, listen to this. Let me pull up an email from the DNR. Muzzleloading season, December 6th to the 15th. So that's through this weekend. In zones 2 and 3, you can use all legal firearms, meaning anything you could use during the rifle season, you can use during the muzzleloader season. How was it?
You won't like it, Mike. No pepper.
But here's what I brought in
I saw the other one.
to satisfy my pepper. Did you like it though, Art?
Yeah, it's very good.
It is very good, isn't it? MichiganBrand.net, MichiganBrand.net. Okay, so there's the late. So we've got the muzzleloader season where you can use a centerfire rifle, and then comes the late antlerless season in the Lower Peninsula, December 16th to January 1st, and then there is an extended late antlerless season in the southern part of the Lower Peninsula from January 2nd to the 12th. The deer in our lease property have gone completely nocturnal. Jerry can't stay. Well, tell your wife to enjoy the dentist. Hopefully hopefully it's just a cleaning and she's got a very gentle hygienist. Good morning, John. How are you? Well, Paul uses an interesting term. People can be idiots. Not interesting. I'm not gonna argue with that. Charlie's Deer Hunt Bug. Tim is but able to see comments on Facebook again. I don't know what happened, though. Mike Paul, good morning from Mike from Indiana. I still call it a clip, though. Enjoy your day, everyone. You can call it a clip if you want, but it's not. Good morning, Todd. Good morning, Bernie. Michigan's the most interesting man. National championship trophy. What? For what? For what? For what? The Johnson family. So that was okay. I know part of the Johnson family. They were members of a church that we did. Dixie Dave and I did a wild game dinner for 2 years in a row, but I didn't realize that they were tied in. Okay, thanks for putting that together for me, Doug. Bob checking in from Flint. How are things in the Motor City, Northern Motor City? All right, Johnny, have a good day. Marco, DNR is reporting that less deer have been taken this year. They know that part of the reason is because of less hunters. Do you think the amount of deer could be improved, bringing baiting back again? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's ridiculous that we can't bait for deer in the Lower Peninsula. And I think the fact that they're saying it increases the chance of disease, the risk of disease. I think the DNR has dug their hole so deep on that one that they can't get out of it now because they've been saying that for years. And now, if they allowed us to bait, it would destroy a lot of their credibility. But I think we should be allowed to bait. I'll tell you what, just as an example, on our lease property, they're baiting around us, and we don't see any deer anymore. The deer are coming into our food plots. You know, DNR says, "Well, if you can't bait, then put in a food plot." Well, if you hunt on private land, I guess that's an option. Public land, that's not an option. So we put in food plots, and they are somewhat effective. But this time of year, these deer have been hunted so hard and will continue to be hunted so hard. We haven't seen a buck in weeks. We haven't seen a mature buck or anything over a year and a half on camera for a couple of weeks now. And the only daylight activity we're seeing is some does and fawns. Um, I don't even know if I'm gonna go back out again. I probably will. I'd be better off to go with this guy right here, Captain Jason Graham of Send It Charters out of Linwood Beach Marina in Saginaw Bay. I'd be better off to go with him and do some late season walleye trolling because the odds are real good that we could get some late season walleye. If I go back out deer hunting now, the odds are really good that I'm not going to get another deer. Although my grandson Trent did shoot a nice doe last Saturday night when we were out. Accessible Hunter, good morning. How are you? CSRA Whitetails and More. Just started my own show here in Augusta, Georgia. Watching you has helped me get prepared. I hope I can be as successful as you are. Well, CSRA, I mean, I wish you much luck, and I hope you are indeed very successful. Tim Bin says, old guys entertained by a thumbs up. I am entertained by that because the first time I went like this and there was a thumbs up on the screen, I thought, well, that's really cool. Michael, good morning. Paul, I'm in zone 2. Any legal firearm is acceptable. Yes, it is. Brad, good morning. How are you? Mike says, man, the snow just started coming down in Caro. Is someone here, John? Not here in Saginaw yet. All right, Jerry, look forward to seeing you tonight. Bill Hoffman, the NCAA football trophy, is visiting his office right now. Gotcha. Captain Jim says the only clip is found on an M1A1 rifle. All others are a box mag. Howdy, y'all. Hey, Justin Tomei of MUCC. I'm glad you joined me, Justin. It reminds me, MUCC is having one of the most interesting promotions I've seen them do, and it is a fundraiser to raise money for MUCC, but their timing is very good, and I suspect their timing is not random. For $100, you can buy a ticket from MUCC to enter a drawing to get 2 tickets to the Super Bowl this year. Now, the Super Bowl this year could be very interesting because there's a decent chance the Lions would be in it. Whoever thought I would be able to say in my lifetime that there's a chance the Lions will be in the Super Bowl? For $100, you can get a ticket. The winner gets 2 tickets, plane fare, and a hotel to the Super Bowl. If you go to mucc.org, Justin, what's the exact link? A link. MUCC.org Super Bowl. If you go to MUCC.org on the website, you'll find it. Also, I've posted a link on my Facebook page too. Very cool. Patrick, good morning to you. Hello, Craig, my friend. How are you? Mickey, what are your thoughts on the potential license fee increases? Mickey, I have not seen an official report or I haven't seen the official numbers yet, but I will tell you this, that I think our hunting and fishing licenses are a wonderful value. So unless they're just ridiculously higher, I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with, although many will, because there are a certain percentage of people who just hate the DNR, and anything the DNR does is bad in their mind. Now, I'm on the DNR over this bait issue, but I'm not one of those guys who thinks that everything the DNR does is wrong. I just disagree with them on the baiting issue, but, I'm not somebody who just hates the DNR. I will tell you this, I would pay more for my hunting and fishing licenses. When I turned 65 and they gave me a senior discount on my licenses, I thought that's not right. If a if a fishing or a hunting license is worth X amount of dollars to a 40-year-old person, isn't it worth the same amount of money to a 65-year-old person? Why should the 65-year-old person get a discount just because they're older? And I am older. I don't get it. Angie, good morning. How are you? Paul said, I had a conversation with an analyst. They said if hunter numbers keep going down, we'll have to eradicate them in a different way. Yep. Well, and yes, and that's a good point, Paul. Hunters are the main. I'll get rid of this so you can see my pretty face. Hunters are the main tool the Michigan DNR has to control deer numbers. As hunter numbers go down and the harvest goes down, they have to look at alternative methods. But in the meantime, that's one of the reasons why they're now letting us use centerfire rifles during muzzleloader season. We have a late doe season. We have an extended antlerless season. But I say, look at along that line. If you want Michigan hunters to kill more deer, let us bait. And I'm not talking about a pickup truck of sugar beets like it used to be back in the old day. I still hate the term bait pile because that has a connotation. If you go out there and there's literally, 500 gallons of beets out there, I don't like that. But I think in limited quantities, I think we should be able to bait. If they want us to kill, speaking for myself, I would have a better chance of killing more deer if I could hunt over a little bit of corn out there. And if I wasn't doing what I am for a living, I would do it. I just can't take the chance of getting caught. Just because I disagree with the law doesn't mean I'm gonna break it. I disagree with the fact that we can only run 3 rods for trolling anglers on the Great Lakes, but I'm not gonna break it. Scott, good morning. Brian, good morning. Cannon, good morning. Bruce, good morning. Gladman got 2 inches last night. Beautiful 10-point. Bruce, go Lions. Turn them in. That's against the law. What, Keith? Jim. Okay, let me tell you. Well, I get it, Dave. I get it. I'm just speaking for me. Dave says, "Look, I'm on disability. I'll take whatever discount I get." I get that. I think it'd be great to have people with disabilities do get a discount. Okay, let me tell you who's on the show this week before I run out of time. My first guest this week is Captain Paul Schlafly of Riverside Charters. I think he's fishing this morning, but we'll find out what wintertime steelhead fishing, especially on the Manistee River, is all about. Then Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley announces a discount for this holiday season. In hour number 2, we're talking late season hunting, family deer hunting, predator hunting, an upcoming coyote tournament that has a new twist to it with Josh Mapes of Overdrive Outdoors. Predator tournaments are in the crosshairs of the anti-hunters, pun intended. Then Cody Norton from the DNR with a reminder on small game season. And then in the third hour this week, kind of my early Christmas gift to you, Ted Nugent joins me in the third hour this week. His conversations, his comments are always interesting. And then we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. For those of you asking how my appointment went last week, The docs say that the hole that is in my heart, there's a 70% chance that it caused my stroke. Because I've had previous strokes, 2 major strokes now and a couple of minor ones, they say I'm playing Russian roulette if I don't get that hole fixed. So, the Friday before Christmas, I will go in and have I will have that hole repaired, and then they say once I get it fixed, my odds of having another stroke are next to nothing. So, no brainer, right? I will have to stay overnight for that procedure, but it's not a big deal. So, it is what it is. Modern medicine is wonderful. Exactly, I won't have to say much with Ted on. Good day, George. There won't be an increase, says Elliot. 2, 1, boom. Okay, Elliot makes a great comment. He says, "Good morning, Mike. Talking with a few rep senators, the increase won't survive the House Senate. It'll get shot down." Unintended. I appreciate that, Tim. I'll always take prayers, but this is aside from the fact that they're going in your heart and screwing around, it's a pretty minor procedure. But if it'll protect me from a future stroke, I'm all in. All right, my friends, I'll be back tonight, 7:00 for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Oh, I guess I need my headphones, don't I? Actually, for this first segment, I don't, John, do I? Mike Avery. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan. And as always, so glad to have you along with us as we continue to work our way toward Christmas. I mean, it's coming up fast now, isn't it? Right around the corner. The weather, I don't know, sometimes it looks like Christmas, sometimes it doesn't. It's been up and down, up and down. The temps have been up and down, here across the southern part of the state. I guess if you're in the U, my buddy Johnny Bowler, he's been plowing snow right along the beer woods. But down here in my neck of the woods, our neck of the woods, the central part of the lower peninsula, mid Michigan, it was real cold there for a while. And I thought, here we go. And then it warmed up. And most of the ice melted, pretty much all of the snow melted, and then it got cold again. And the weather forecast, as I look at it for the next few days, calls for being cold again. So up and down, it's like a roller coaster like it often is here in Michigan. Michigan's meteorologist, Mark Torregrossa, was on with me. I don't know if it was last week or a couple of weeks ago. He said, we do have a pretty good chance of having we hate to use the term a good old-fashioned Michigan winter because I don't know if we'll ever have another good old-fashioned Michigan winter like we used to when I was a kid growing up on the west side of the state where you get feet of snow and a snowstorm. But he says, we could get some ice, could get some snow this year. I personally want to see the calendar advance here a little bit, at least get past the 21st of December. This lack of daylight right now is kind of crazy, isn't it? I mean, we've got basically, 6 hours of full daylight now? It gets light around 9, it starts to get dark around 3. I feel like I'm living in a cave. But that is one of the things you have to deal with, when you live in a state that has 4 seasons. I would not want to be anywhere else. I mean, Florida or something like that is nice to visit in the middle of the winter, but would I wanna live there? Absolutely. Do I wanna deal with their hurricanes? Do I wanna deal with their gators? Do I wanna deal with their poisonous snakes? Do I wanna deal with hot, muggy weather all summer long? No. I think I'll stick right here in Michigan. Thank you very much. Michigan's the only state I ever lived in, and at this point, I don't think I'll ever move. I don't see a reason ever to move. So I guess I'm a little bit biased. I'm an unabashed Michigan fanboy. I love the state. I love the recreational opportunities our state has. For example, since we've last talked, I was out in the Michigan whitetail woods. I was out there for the muzzleloader season. It used to be called the primitive season, if I remember right, the primitive hunting season. Well, it's still technically called the muzzleloader season. here in the Lower Peninsula, you don't have to use a muzzle loader. You can actually use a center fire rifle. You can use any rifle, any center fire rifle that was legal in your area during the regular firearm season is a legal gun during the muzzleloader season. That muzzleloader season goes through this weekend. So I was out there with my Brenton 350 Legend AR style rifle. Great big old scope on it and a suppressor on the end of it. It looked pretty high tech. Not really a muzzleloader, right? It's interesting because in the picture that I posted, there's a magazine sticking out of the bottom of the gun. Now the magazine is what holds the ammo, the rounds, the shells, the bullets. And I had a lot of people post, well, one thing, it's not legal, right? This is the muzzleloader season. You can't be out there with that gun. Well, I can. It's legal. I'm not going to do something that's illegal and then post it on Facebook. And then they also said that clip. Some people said, that clip that's sticking out of the bottom of your gun is too big. You can only have 5 rounds here in Michigan. In fact, somebody said that. So I had a little fun with a post following up on it. First of all, if you're going to call it a clip, you're going to lose a little bit of credibility in my mind right away because it's not a clip; it's a magazine, and that itself is a minor point. But if you're going to come at me and say I'm doing something wrong and you use the wrong word, I'm probably going to stick it back in your face. Which I have nothing to do. And then also, I did a post the following day. I was just sitting in my truck, and I had the gun in the back seat, in a case, unloaded. I took the magazine out of the case, grabbed some shells, some rounds, some ammo, and I did a video. I said, "Look, here in Michigan, we are indeed limited to 5 rounds in the magazine. Now, this looks like a 10-round magazine. Let me show you something." And I actually went through the somewhat tedious process. 1, 2, 3, then I put 5 rounds in there. I said, "Okay, here comes round number 6." Tried to put round number 6 in there, and it wouldn't go in. Because in that Brenton magazine, there is a built-in limiter/block, whatever you wanna call it. It's removable, but they come from the factory that and limits that magazine to 5 rounds. So I I appreciate the fact that people are watching me so closely and trying to make sure I do things legally. Uh, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do just about everything I can to do things legally, but I appreciate you keeping an eye on me. But the online game wardens, the online firearms experts, I just grin. Just have to grin and sometimes have a little fun. But the whole concept of being able to be out there late in the year with a center fire rifle, I mean, think about that. In my part of the state, we had a 2-week firearm year season from November 1st through the 15th, where you could use your center fire rifle, in my case, my Brenton 350 Legend. And then came the muzzleloader season. We had about a week off where it was just archery season, and then the muzzleloader season came in, and in the Lower Peninsula, you could again use any legal rifle that was open during firearm season could be used for muzzleloader season. So again, I was out there with that Brenton 350 Legend. Okay, so you got a 2-week firearm season, and then you've got a muzzleloader season, which goes from the 6th to the 15th. And then you've got a late antlerless season, which goes from the middle of the month, December 16th to January 1st in the Lower Peninsula. And then in the southern part of the Lower Peninsula, you've got an extended late antlerless season. It goes through January 12th. That's a lot of pressure on the deer herd. Now, where I hunt, we haven't seen anything other than a real tiny buck, even on camera now for a couple of weeks. And while we're out there hunting, we haven't seen anything in the food plots. The DNR says, "Well, we're not gonna allow you to bait, but if you're on, private land, you can go ahead and put in a food plot. That'll bring deer in." To which I say, "Yeah, yeah, somewhat, kind of, but if you've got people around you who are baiting, you can't compete with bait. The deer are gonna go to the bait." I am not one of those people who just doesn't like the DNR, but I think the DNR is making a mistake here when they will not allow Southern Michigan deer hunters to use some bait. I'm not talking about a pickup load of beets out there that stays out there all season long. I'm talking about being able to throw a little corn out there on the ground. If you truly want us to shoot more deer, and you do, that's why you have made these changes in the deer seasons to allow hunters more opportunities to shoot deer, then let us use some bait. And you might be saying, "Well, Avery, if you were a real hunter, you wouldn't need bait." Okay. All right. I'm not gonna argue with you on that one. The doe that I earlier in the fall, I didn't have bait, but, any that's a topic, and I'll talk more about that on the show this week. In fact, I think the Ask Avery segment, it's the end of the second hour, I'll dive into this a little bit farther. Before I run out of time here, let me tell you who's coming up on this week's radio show. After the break, Captain Paul of Riverside Charter talks about wintertime steelhead fishing, primarily on the Manistee River, but this would pertain to just about any river. Then Andy Weiss from Truck Trolley announces a real cool Christmas discount on that very cool product. In hour number 2, Josh Mapes of Overdrive Outdoors on deer hunting with your family, late season tactics, coyote hunting, and a very interesting coyote hunt, the coyote tournament he has coming up here after the first of the hour. Then Cody Norton from the DNR reminds us, all this talk about deer hunting and such, and I'm guilty of this. Don't forget about small game season. It's out there till what? March? Squirrel season, rabbit season? And then in the third hour, my early Christmas gift to you. The conversation with the Motor City Madman, Uncle Ted Nugent. And actually, I do that just when I get lazy. Because if I get Ted on the show, I can throw out one question, sit back, and drink coffee for the rest of the segment. He's coming up in hour number 3, and then Wild Game Chef Extraordinaire, Dave Meyer. My name is Mike Avery. This show is Outdoor Magazine. My website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. My email address, Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I would love to hear from you. Paul Schlafly coming up after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine. All right, my friends, have a good day. I'll be back tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday. Let me see what some of the comments are. Yeah, yes, Michael, exactly. Hi, my friends. No more cigars, Jim. We need a fishing trip with a few good cigars. I completely gave up cigars, um, and probably will continue along that path. Breaks my heart. Good morning, Vance. Getting ramped up for the late elk season. Good luck to you and your hunters. All right, my friends, have a great day. I got to go talk to you tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. Have a great day.